Hello, listeners. My name is Cliff Ratza. I'm the author of 2 ongoing series of novels, the Lightning Brain series and its sequel, the Keeper series. And in addition to being an author and writing coach, I teach at universities and have a consulting business. If you would like to learn more about me, my books, or my writing coach activities, please go to the lightningbrainseries.com website. So, why might you be interested in my background or this talk? Because I believe I have something to offer you if you like reading novels or are interested in becoming an author or simply like hearing an interesting talk. And if you're like most people, you don't want to waste your time. So I wouldn't have made this talk if it weren't worth it. So without further intro, let's begin what should take perhaps 20 minutes or so. This video will cover a topic that I think listeners should like to know more about. It's why an action-adventure series can be considered literary fiction. So perhaps the best way to begin is by saying, once upon a time. Well, once upon a time, artists and the public shared common lifestyles. All art forms, whether literature, music, or painting, were mainstream. And works of art were meant to entertain people or to put them in awe of a higher power. And way back then, audiences needed little help understanding the artist's creations. But gradually, cultures and civilizations advanced. Cognitively, we've gone from myths and legends to beliefs and faith and religion, and now we're into science and reason. Socially, we've advanced from hunter-gatherers and farmers to artisans and then urban dwellers. And politically, we've moved from tribes to religious or authoritarian organizations to monarchies and now to self-rule. And technologically, we've progressed from human and animal power to the Industrial Revolution, then to the Electronic Revolution, and now the Information Revolution. And today is the age of specialization. Artist organizations and spokespersons often claim they must lead the public because they know what art is. When applied to writing, literary critics say they must help the reader figure out what they should like and why. So let's apply this to fiction. We all know what a novel is. Here is a useful definition. A novel is a fictitious prose narrative of considerable length and complexity, portraying characters and usually presenting a sequential organization of actions and scenes. And let's flesh out more about the contemporary novels. There are 2 major categories, mainstream and literary. Mainstream novels focus more on surface plot than on character development and the human condition. Readers' enjoyment is paramount. Mainstream is divided into numerous genres such as science fiction, romance, mystery, action-adventure, so on and so forth. Literary novels are supposed to be serious and profound. They extend great novels from the past. They have thorough character development, detailed narrative, and their literary worth is measured maybe in terms of reader enlightenment. Those are considered paramount. Which do you think is more enjoyable? Well, it's a personal choice, and there are readers that enjoy all types. And literature is often divided into chronological periods. Here are some of them. Middle English. That's Canterbury Tales and Arthurian legends. There's a Renaissance period, such as Shakespeare or Dante's Divine Comedy. Then there's neoclassical, which would be Daniel Defoe or Jonathan Swift. And there's Romantic period, epitomized by Jane Austen and Sir Walter Scott. Modern period would have William Faulkner or James Joyce or Virginia Woolf. And postmodern, well, that's what's going on today. Think of Thomas Pynchon or Salman Rushdie or Italo Calvino. And all of us have read our share of classic literature from previous time periods. Why do I say that? Schools require it, and often reading the classics from previous periods is like eating spinach. The modern reader is not attuned to classics, but the results are worth the effort. Many of these books take more time and energy than today's busy readers have available, and the same conditions often apply to many contemporary literary novels. Readers must be in the proper frame of mind to enjoy them. And what are the rewards? Well, better insight into the human condition. They're emotionally rewarding, and they give us sharpened awareness. Whether or not we enjoy reading a novel, it and its author deserve respect. And why do I say that? Well, it takes talent, dedication, and some luck to publish a novel. Each novel embodies a goal, which requires some thinking. And for mainstream novels, the goal is usually reader enjoyment. For literary novels, the goal may be profound insight or surprising literary style, or perhaps a modern setting for a classic novel. And literary novels are often thought to be more complex and sophisticated. Here are some of the reasons why. They are supported by an overarching theme and thesis. They have a complex narrative style. They contain external and internal conflict, along with well-developed and multi-layered characters. They reveal emotional intensity, and they demand that the reader pay attention. And they often require an understanding of mythology, the Bible, Shakespeare, history of religion or philosophy, maybe some politics and psychology. And let me clarify the distinction between theme and thesis. Theme is the central, controlling or dominating idea in a literary work. A work may contain minor themes which the author explores, but the work is usually unified around a central theme. Theme is usually an abstract idea that the author wishes to explore. And the author makes the idea concrete by putting before us characters and situations that illustrate the abstraction. Thesis is the concrete combination of characters and situations explored as the particular book's plot unfolds, and it illustrates the central theme's truth. And now let's focus on the action-adventure novel. Usually we find that the action is the theme in the thesis. It's fast-paced, action barrels from one breathtaking scene to the next, and it's dynamic and suspenseful. Readers can't wait to turn the page. Surprising yet believable. Events could actually take place, and many times readers might not have to suspend disbelief. Characters are what they are throughout the novel. And let's consider my series. The Lightning Brain series books are actually literary novels wrapped in action-adventure. The series is sui generis, a term which means one of a kind. It contains 5 novels, and there's a sequel series, The Keepers. Each novel can be enjoyed on its own, and they incorporate current scientific and socio-political trends to create a plausible, near-term future, 22nd century. And the events probe into conditions and emotions that define the human condition. I invite readers to enjoy it on whatever level they wish. For example, it can be read as gripping, action-packed thrillers, or as glimpses into a plausible near-term future, or maybe insights into dealing with the human condition. It has illustrative worldview philosophy, as well as emotive narrative and imagery, and it will introduce you to topics every reader would like to know. Also, there are interesting talking points going beyond sound bites. For the action-adventure piece, Middle East terrorism and a mutant man-made virus threaten the civilized world. The United States is still the world's leading superpower, but the government has become harsh to avoid tipping into the abyss. Technoplague, which is a rapid onset of dementia, has dummied down the nation's IQ. The public fears genetic engineering, nanotechnology, artificial intelligence, and transhumanism. Each novel traces from a different vantage point the impact of all the above. And for the literary piece, there's an overarching theme. No matter how extraordinary the person, each of us can become a victim in a primitive world that can't handle the truth. But don't give in to fear and uncertainty. And we feature a proactive, pragmatic philosophy that can help you live life to the fullest. Unlike most post-contemporary novels, the series did not project a dystopian future or showcase confused protagonists. America remains number one, and the characters make the best of situations. The characters are believable and multidimensional, possessing flaws that make them human and evoke reader empathy. Characters grow throughout the series. Plot and storyline are fact-based and believable. And the books also contain original poetry that enhances the emotional and psychological issues and adds narrative and character depth. Readers can learn about topics or concepts of interest, and readers can take away practical philosophical guidelines that'll help them get through the challenges of the day. Let me mention the foundation of this series. Have you ever heard of William Golding? His most famous novel is Lord of the Flies. Well, his second novel, The Inheritors, chronicles the rivalry between Neanderthals and Homo sapiens, witnessed through the point of view of a mentally challenged Neanderthal. Well, the Lightning Brain series explores how modern civilization, composed of population segments dummied down by a viral pandemic and afraid of the future, might deal with existential threats. And the point of view is that of an extraordinary female, our protagonist, Electra Kittner. And let me explain why the words lightning brain are in the title. At the moment of Electra's birth, a lightning bolt strikes, killing mother and grandmother, burning down the house and transforming Electra's neural wiring and DNA. Electra becomes extraordinary, far superior to mere mortals, but she is not a far-fetched superhero. She has flaws, which I invite you to discover when reading the series. Her cognitive and emotional personas are riveting. I think readers will empathize with her. And listen to this. Modern neuroscience confirms that DNA and brain neural wiring are interrelated electrochemical autorecursive phenomena. They are complex, but ultimately based on neuroscientific principles. And the Lightning Brain series inverts the Jurassic Park series. In Jurassic Park, researchers slice and dice dinosaur DNA to bring the past into the present. But in the Lightning Brain series, a lightning bolt brings one possible future DNA structure into the present. That is Electra, our protagonist. So there you have it, my explanation for why an action-adventure series can be considered literary fiction and illustrated via my Lightning Brain series. And I think you are way smart enough to figure this out. So I hope readers enjoyed the novels at whatever level they wish, and the entire series is a chronology of Electra's Odyssey. Each book is different. Doesn't matter which novel you read first, each is standalone. And what is Electra and her world like? Well, please read the books to find out. Now here's a rhetorical question. Are the novels in the Lightning Brain series good? Well, that's a question for reviewers and readers and people like you to answer. But I can say that all books in the series have earned excellent reviews from sources such as Kirkus, US Review, and Hollywood Book Review. Reader comments are favorable, and you can see some in Amazon or Goodreads. and you can judge for yourself by reading them. And here's another good question. What do you think are the characteristics of a great literary novel? Well, how about these features? It explores timeless topics. It changes the way people think. It stimulates others. It engages all generations, and it causes the reader to think. And what value does a reader get from reading a great literary novel, classic or modern? How about these? It often points out forgotten or overlooked ideas. It connects to current issues, engages the reader with great minds who probably have different values. It increases the reader's intellectual muscle, and it helps the reader form better judgments. Now, what about this question? Why do people read novels? How about these reasons? For enjoyment, to learn something, to escape into another world, to keep up with friends or trends. And where do you think novels best fit in current educational programs? Well, here are the main categories. There's general or liberal arts programs, technical or professional programs, certification programs, or on the job, that's OTJ training. I would say that novels fit best in general or liberal arts programs. And here's why. The following definition comes from a highly regarded university. Let me just read it to you. A liberal education is a system or course of education suitable for the cultivation of a free human being. It is based on the medieval concept of the liberal arts, or more commonly now, the liberalism of the Age of Enlightenment. In modern colleges and universities, the liberal arts include the study of literature, languages, philosophy, history, mathematics, and science as the basis of a general or liberal education. Politics, psychology, and economics are in there too, as are the fine arts, music, painting, sculpture, and today, film is also included. Contemporary cultures and societies demand a different educational focus than in days of old. Here's some historical perspective that explains why this is so. Formal universities and scholasticism started in Renaissance Italy, and a classical education, which was started during the Golden Age of Greece, became the gold standard. Its trivium consists of grammar, logic, and rhetoric, while its quadrivium consists of arithmetic, astronomy, music, and geometry. And according to Plato, the total combination gave a foundation for philosophers. According to Plato's Republic, the three classes of people are producers and workers. They are the laborers who make the goods and services society needs. Then there are the auxiliaries. These are the warriors who are responsible for defending the city from invaders and for keeping the peace. And then there are the guardians. The guardians rule the state and love knowledge above all else. Guardians are chosen from the best and brightest who have proved themselves worthy during their rigorous education, starting from early childhood onward. They become the philosopher kings. And please consider the educational challenge facing all of us today. We have to learn enough of the liberal arts so we can appreciate the human condition, while at the same time getting enough training so we can get a good job. It's tough because we live in an age of specialization. Perhaps the best approach is to learn enough liberal arts for lifelong learning and get enough technical, professional, or certification training to qualify for a good career, which will also require periodic coursework. And what about authors and writers? Most of them have a liberal arts or a soft sciences degree. Some will obtain an MFA, which is a Master of Fine Arts. Most FFA programs treat writing as a craft or a skill and focus on the techniques. That's the how. And very few cover the academic foundation, which is the what. and they all simply assume their students know the why they have chosen to write novels. And please note the difference between talent and skill. Talent is something a person is born with and will emerge through practice. Skill and craft are the tools used when practicing. Talent comes in many forms, but no matter the form, it cannot be taught. However, craft and skill can. And as I mentioned earlier, I am a writing coach and offer via Prime Solutions a writing coach program. Here are some of the reasons aspiring writers and authors might like it. Prime Solutions is a hybrid self-publisher. They are an author or writer's all-in-one agent and editor, publisher and printer, marketer and writing coach, as well as the do-it-yourself MFA program. These are all the reasons why authors and writers should like Prime Solutions, and they also publish the Lightning Brain series and its sequel, the Keeper series. And I invite viewers of this video to check out the lightningbrainseries.com website to see how my background makes me an outstanding writing coach. Please contact us using the website if you would like to know more about how what we have can help you. And thank you for watching and listening. If you wish, please give us your feedback so we can make new ones even better. Bye for now.